A level 1. The fish. You step out of the prison transport and immediately hit a wall of bleach mixed with cheap tobacco and unwashed bodies. Handcuffs bite into your wrists, leaving crimson welts as a guard shoves a Kalashnikov buttstock into your back. You hear the heavy iron bolts slam shut, a sound that vibrates in your teeth like a hammer striking an anvil. They lead you down a hallway where fluorescent lights hum on a single, low note. You're naked, standing on a frozen concrete floor, the chill climbing from your heels to your crotch. A guard they call Gray tosses you a bundle of clothes, pants made of coarse burlap, and a jacket with your name on the chest. The fabric scrapes your skin like sandpaper. In cell 312, 14 men are waiting. The air is so thick with steam and sweat you want to spit it out. You sit on the edge of the bottom bunk. The lumpy cotton mattress sags beneath you until you hit the ironed frame. A man with a scar slicing through his right eyebrow, known as the brown, looks at your sneakers. "Take 'em off, fish," he says. Your heart is hammering at 120 beats a minute. You realize your downtown apartment, your 50 grand bank account, and your law degree mean less here than a cigarette butt in an ashtray. You don't sleep that night. You listen to someone behind the wall hacking with a dry, racking cough, and the roar of rusty water howling through the pipes. You are a fish, the weakest link in the food chain. Your only mission for the next 24 hours is to survive until the 6 a.m. head count. Level 2. The infantry. 3 months pass. You no longer flinch at the clatter of the bolts. You've learned to sleep 6 hours through the noise without taking your boots off, because a barefoot man in a cell is defenseless. Your body has rewired itself. You've lost 20 pounds, but your shoulders have hardened, and your gaze has become short and heavy. You belong to a family now. Your rank, infantry. Your day starts at 5:45 a.m. You hear the guard beat his baton against the bars. The sound doesn't scare you anymore. It just irritates you, like a buzzing fly. You head to the mess hall, which reeks of burnt barley and rotting cabbage. Your hands are used to the rough surface of the aluminum spoon with the broken handle. You eat fast, in 3 minutes flat, tasting the cheap grease on your tongue, eyes locked on your chipped bowl. The brown gives you your first job. He hands you an 8-inch piece of rebar, one end wrapped in sticky blue electrical tape. You feel the prickly chill of the metal under your jacket as you tuck it into your waistband. If a screw catches you, you'll be thrown into the hole for 15 days. Where your fingers will go numb from the damp air, and the only sound is the drip, drip, drip from a leaking pipe. You do it. That evening, you're on lookout in the corner of the yard. You watch the brown beat a guy from another crew. You hear the dull thuds against ribs and the wheezing, but you don't care anymore. You stare at the gray concrete, smell the cheap, hand-rolled tobacco on your clothes, and test the sharpness of your aluminum mug with a thumb. Your pulse is steady, 70 beats a minute. Level 3. The Ghost. 2 years in, you walk into the visitation room. You sit before a scratched, inch-thick glass pane, holding a plastic phone receiver that smells of someone else's cologne and antiseptic. On the other side sits your wife. She's wearing a dress you've never seen and a gold chain she bought without asking you. She says, "Our son got an A in math yesterday." You watch her lips move and realize her voice sounds like a distant radio. Your fingers, used to rough concrete and steel bolts, instinctively clench into a fist. You want to touch her hand, but you hit the cold, soulless surface of the plastic. You see your reflection in the glass, haggard, gray-skinned, hollow-eyed, and you realize that man has nothing to do with the woman on the other side. Your son stands next to her, pressing his palm to the glass. His fingers are small and clean. You press your palm against his, knuckles bruised, skin marked with a 5-dot tattoo, done with burnt rubber ink. You don't feel the warmth of his hand, only the vibration of the room's air conditioner. He asks when you're coming home. "Soon, hero," you say. You're lying, and you know he can feel it. That night, you lie on your bunk. You hear the wind whistling through the razor wire outside, a 300 hertz shriek. You pull her last letter from under the mattress, but don't open it. You feel the texture of the cheap paper and the scent of her perfume almost faded away. You stop answering the calls. You kill the memory of home inside you, because here, hope weighs more than a 90-pound sandbag on a work detail. You are a ghost. You no longer exist in their world. Level 4, The Hustler. 5 years in. The borders between days dissolve. You stop counting the hours until freedom. You start counting cartons of cigarettes and packets of instant coffee. Now, you are a hustler. Your place is in the industrial zone supply room, smelling of machine oil, metal shavings, and dusty iron. You know how to source a cracked screen phone for $50, or pass a note to the women's block through a cook named Rusty. You stand at the workbench, feeling the vibration of the grinder rattle your elbows. You watch a group of fish being led past, hearing their ragged breathing, but you don't look up. Your fingers are used to the texture of fine copper wire and the smell of rosin. You fix things that officially shouldn't exist. A guard they call the Major walks in. He doesn't yell. He sets a pack of expensive filtered cigarettes on the table and says, "Make me a shank with a plexiglass handle." You slide your hand over a cold strip of steel you stole from the warehouse a week ago. You feel its weight, 12 ounces, and you know this metal is your insurance. You're not just an inmate anymore. You're a part of the mechanism greasing its gears. Back in the cell, you eat homemade lard from a care package that wasn't meant for you, but earned as a favor. You taste the salt and garlic, listen to the Brown argue over a card debt, and realize this noise is your lullaby. You catch yourself thinking that outside these walls, you have no business left. You've grown used to the iron slats biting into your shoulder blades, and the glow of the nightlight that never turns off. Prison isn't a cage anymore. It's your office. Level 5, The Shot Caller. You've got the bunk with the 4-inch mattress. You feel the soft cotton and hear the hum of the ventilation. You squat in the yard, feeling the rough, hot brick against your back while 80 shadows kick up dust that grits in your teeth. A guy named Nail approaches you. He smells of lye soap and bleach, his fingers twitching at the hem of his robe. "I can't pay the Brown back," he says. You hear the clack of a bolt from the guard tower, taste the bitter chai-fire brew, and feel the sticky heat. You nod to the Brown, who's clicking ebonite prayer beads against a metal button. At night, you hear the guard's boots on the tile and the squeak of a rusty cart. Under your pillow, you feel the cold steel of a 12-ounce shank and inhale the scent of damp plaster. Paranoia squeezes your ribs. You see the red eye of the security camera blinking every 3 seconds. You know that for your spot, someone has already sharpened a piece of rebar against a strip of coarse leather. You order the removal of Nail. At 3 a.m., you hear a dull thud, a skull hitting concrete, and a muffled gasp. You don't get up. You feel the draft from the window stinging your feet and pull up your scratchy wool blanket. You feel the texture of the coarse sheet under your palm and smell the bleach from the corridor. Your pulse doesn't change, just a dry throat and the aftertaste of cheap tobacco. Your body lies motionless on the iron bed frame, waiting for the sound of the first morning bolt. Level 6, a shard of the system. The 3-ton iron gates clang behind you. You feel an uncomfortably warm breeze on your face, smelling of gasoline and linden trees. In your hands is a plastic bag with jeans that have turned stiff over 25 years. The roar of traffic is deafening. You stand at the bus stop, feeling soft, melting asphalt under your soles instead of the familiar cold concrete. You see people in bright clothes, smell their expensive perfume, and realize the world has become too fast, too loud. You walk into a supermarket. The white lights sear eyes that have forgotten what brightness is. You see shelves with 40 types of bread and feel your palms grow damp, blood pulsing in your temples. You hear the beep, beep, beep of the registers, but you can't make a choice, because for a quarter century, that choice was made for you. At night, you lie on a soft mattress that feels like quicksand, inhaling the alien smell of fresh wallpaper. You miss the clang of the bolt and the hum of a crowded cell just to be able to close your eyes. You get up and sit on the floor, back against the hard wall, listening to the clock tick like a sledgehammer. Through the window, you see a prison bus with barred windows driving by. You hear the familiar rumble of its diesel engine. You catch the eye of a fish in the window. You taste the camp dust on your tongue and realize you envy him. He knows his place. He knows what happens an hour from now. You don't. You are a shard of the system that no longer fits any lock in this world.